Welcome to The Exchange. I'm Rob Cox of Reuters Breaking Views. My guests today are Alexis Maybank and Alexandra Wilson, who are the co-founders of Gilt Group. Welcome. You've got this new book, By Invitation Only, How We Built Gilt and Changed the Way Millions Shop. Alexis, tell me, first of all, why Gilt is different from all the other online retailers that are trying to get me to spend money.
Well, Gilt Group today sells over $1 billion in luxury goods on its site day in and day out. And we span from women's to men's to children and other like services. And why it's different is in a very short period of time, nearly 3 to 4 years, we've built a business where these $1 billion in product are selling. And we have nearly 900 employees around the globe.
Right.
So it's grown really quickly in a very short amount of time.
Right, Alexandra, explain to me like a flash sale. Okay, I'm like a terrible shopper, but everyone around me and a lot of people in my office they die by this Gilt Group thing. But the flash thing seems to be the key to it. How does it work?
Yeah, and the flash thing is very addictive. So Alexis and I started the business with co-founders November 2007, and we were inspired by the concept of a New York City sample sale, which can be very exciting, and we brought that concept online. So the key is log on exactly when the sales start, which is 12 p.m. Eastern.
So every day at 12 p.m. you know that it's like, okay, like clockwork, Gilt's going to give me some really cool luxury goods or restaurant deals or whatever it is. I just have to be there for it.
Exactly. We send out an email, so a lot of our members wait for the email, see what brands are coming up, and based on that, they'll log in. But the majority of our customers just regularly check the site every day when the sales go live, and you can purchase very quickly on the site. That's part of the excitement and part of the fun. You're in, you're out, it's over.
Is
You
the
got a great
inventory
deal.
limited though? Like, do you have to get there before it all goes away, kind of like a sample sale?
Over 150 sales every single week, and so that's like changing over the storefront that often. And they last just 36 hours, so you have to get there very quickly. In fact, about 75% of our products sell in the first 90 minutes of a sale. So it's very fast and competitive.
Well, at least it's fast. That way the productivity of my staff that's on Gilt Group won't necessarily be impinged on. But now, tell me about the book. Okay, you've written By Invitation Only. But what are you trying to do with this book?
We wrote the book By Invitation Only to share some of our past 4 years experience starting a business that's grown as quickly as it has. We believe fundamentally that entrepreneurship is a big fuel today to this economy and moving us forward. And if there's any way in our by our experience we can inspire others to follow their dreams, their passions, we basically have put a book together on entrepreneurship with takeaway thoughts on how to build a team, how to raise capital, how to manage hypergrowth, and even think about your own role as you change and the business changes as well.
Which both of you have done. Obviously, you've sort of settled into different roles. You're not necessarily you have a CEO right now.
That's right.
And you have a president, but you guys still play active roles in the firm.
Yes, and I've held over 5 titles, from Chief Marketing Officer to CEO myself, the first CEO of the business, to President, and many different roles, and kind of gravitating to new and internal startup activities that we might have.
Okay, but like every entrepreneur, you've probably made mistakes, right? Like, are there some of them in here? You can't just, you're not just telling us about all the good things you've done.
No,
right?
we're very honest in the book about the ups and downs of entrepreneurship. I mean, we definitely had a lot of challenges. We faced situations like running out of inventory and making sure we could find enough of the very best brands for our customers. We faced challenges on the website because our demand forecasting wasn't as aggressive as the reality of how many members joined the site. So we really tried to highlight some of the challenges so entrepreneurs could avoid those types of pitfalls when they're building their own business.
So wait, you're like an online business, but you're based in New York and you're with 1,000 people. Why aren't you in Silicon Valley? I mean, that just sounds like something. I mean, what advantage do you have being in New York, or disadvantage do you see?
New York is an expensive place to start a business, without a doubt. However, there are certain businesses that really make sense to start here, and those are focused on fashion, retail, relying on the advertising industry, to do with finance, and our business was one that really made sense to be started up in Manhattan.
Right. Who are your customers? Are they people in? Actually, I know that there are a lot of people on Wall Street who are customers, because one of my colleagues had seen somebody had asked questions, how many people are go to Gilt Group and buy clothes, and they're like all these bankers and stuff. Their hands went up. Do you have a sense of your demographic?
We have over 5 million customers shopping on Gilt today, and what's surprising is that a good portion of them are men. Nearly 40% are men, and that's not something we never thought we'd see, and it's men shopping for themselves. So tend to be between 25 to 50. Those who like to get their shopping done in 10 or 15 minutes, get great stuff at great value, and are often working really demanding jobs, so not spending the same amount of time in stores that once might have happened.
All right, and so where does it go from here? You've got 1,000 people, you're active in the US and Japan. What's sort of the next phase for Gilt?
Well, we're working very hard right now to improve all of the businesses that we've started, and we're really just in about every luxury lifestyle category. We're focused on profitability, and then there probably are going to be other future channels that we'll be investigating. In November, for example, we started shipping to over 100 countries around the world, and we're already seeing some really exciting data and trends from that, so that could influence future business decisions.
And you've got venture capitalists behind you.
Yep.
At some point, venture capitalists, from my understanding, would like to see an exit. What are your plans to do that? I mean, do you have an IPO that you'd think eventually? Do you sell the business? Do you just keep growing and give them massive dividends and make them really happy? What's the plan?
We've already announced that we'll think about organizing for a public offering this year, looking forward to 2013, but we're really focused on just building the best customer experience. It's a really competitive industry. If you lose sight of that even for a moment, we're going to leave a window for someone else to come in. Right. And there's a lot of benefits to being private, and there's a lot of other options to public markets.
You mentioned the competition. What are the barriers to entry for your business?
Well, we're really focused on scale. That is tremendously important in our industry. So if we can go into a partner like a Ralph Lauren and say, we'll buy across all the businesses that you're in, from women's to home to men, as well as take hundreds of thousands or even millions in inventory, it's really hard for someone else to break in and say, we want $30,000 of women's clothes. So that
and to be able to deliver it, that you will actually sell it.
Exactly, and we have a very trusted brand at this point to Gilt Group and as kind of a purveyor of luxury goods. So that helps keep others come in from entering our space, and we're, as a first mover in our flash sales industry, we're somewhat tied to the industry itself.
And one last question. So Gilt Group, I associate your brand with luxury goods or sort of more expensive stuff. How is the economic downturn and modest rebound? I mean, how are you seeing? Has it been difficult out there? Are people actually looking for some edge which you might offer through your flash sales? And what's your sense of the market?
What we found is in bad times people want a deal, and in good times people want a deal. So we started the business a little bit before the recession really kicked in, and we started seeing phenomenal initial growth. And then in fall 2008, when there was so much inventory of really the best brands in the world out there, we certainly got flooded by some of the best brands, which was great for our site. But then we really built long-term strategic partnerships with our brands and are built into their business models.
A deal's a deal. People want a deal, especially when times are bad, I suppose. Well, thank you very much for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
My guests today were the co-founders of Gilt Group, Alexis Maybank and Alexandra Wilkes Wilson. I'm Rob Cox with The Exchange. We'll be back soon with another episode.